Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to throw my hat in the ring of Overwatch versus Battleborn in the form of why you should just buy Overwatch if you're a console player, is essentially what I'm going to bring forth. And I keep trying to, I remember I had this piece of paper written out with all these reasons of why Overwatch would be better and why there were some other advantages being, added to Battleborn. But I found that there's literally one reason. There's basically one reason. And if you don't know what that reason is, then I don't know. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you the reason. I might as well go into at least a little bit of a preface. I played both of the betas on the PlayStation 4, both Overwatch and Battleborn. I think they're both great games in their own right. I think Battleborn's a great MOBA. I think Overwatch is a great objective team-based game. The games have some similarities, but not to the extent that people would compare them to online. I think that's kind of silly, just saying, oh, they look the same, so they're the same. I think that's a silly argument. I know that Battleborn offers a campaign, and I've played that as well. I think it's very good. However, the problem, and this is the salient point of what I'm basically going to get into, and I didn't intend for this video to be this type of video, but Overwatch runs better. That's why it's better and why you should get it for your console, because you feel like when you pick up Overwatch versus Battleborn, you're playing a quality product that had time put into it. Whereas when you pick up Battleborn in comparison, it kind of just chugs along and the performance isn't that good. And granted, there are other reasons that I think Overwatch is better. I think the characters are better. I think that each role that they play is, flushed out and each character is useful. Whereas Battleborn, though they say they have 25 players, some players are damn near useless compared to others. Like, for example, Galilea is just kind of shits on everyone's face. And that's annoying. Whereas in Overwatch, Mercy is a different type of healer than Lucio is. Reinhardt's a different type of tank than Diva is. And playing them, you could be a good tank player in other games, and you might understand the concepts of tanking, but you're still going to have to learn what makes Reinhardt a different tank than Diva. You're going to have to know what makes Zarya a different tank than Reinhardt. You're going to have to know what makes Zenyatta a different healer than Mercy. The battlefield not only is, not only are the fights based on team composition in Overwatch, but that can also change. So you're kind of not doomed from the start like you are in Battleborn, because you don't get to see what your enemy picks until you enter the round in Battleborn. So you kind of feel like you have more control over your destiny in Overwatch. Like, for example, you see a team composition that just flattens yours. And you're like, oh shit, I can't change my role. Literally at all, you can't change your role in Battleborn. Whereas in Overwatch, you can just say, oh, I'm going to switch to this character. This is where the gap is in this fight. This is who I need to be for us to, turn this around or have a better chance of turning it around. I think that Overwatch just gives you a lot more freedom. And not only more freedom, but more freedom to actually play the fucking game. Because, again, the frame rate's better. Your inputs are going to be more accurate. And it's going to be more responsive. This is just science. Overwatch is better because science, guys. Now, I know there's a different argument to be made for the PC versions of the game, but I'll leave that to you guys, whether you value the Gearbox Swagger campaign. And yes, there's tons of fun jokes in the Battleborn, but there's also some fun dialogue between the Overwatch characters. But for me, it comes down to a basic principle. You didn't run at 60, so I'm not buying you. Sorry. You lose. But anyways, guys, if you have opinions on frame rate and why you think it is either necessary or not necessary to run at a specific frame rate, if you think that 30 frames is fine and that it has more to do with what's in the game, the length of the game or whatever, or the amount of content, let me know, because I can see people arguing for Battleborn, because Battleborn isn't a bad game. That's not really what I wanted to put across. I think Battleborn's a phenomenal game, actually, for what it is. And the fact that Gearbox, this is probably like... I'm assuming it's their first MOBA. I'm not sure. They did a freaking hell of a job. And I commend both of these companies for putting out such good fucking products. But I kind of hate the fact that I have to choose between them, because I feel like if these games would have came out at different years or something, I would have wound up with both of them. But I kind of have to stick with one right now since they're both coming out this month, and I can't just throw away money in a cavalier manner. You just can't throw around your fucking dough like that. I think Overwatch is the better buy. I feel like if you're into multiplayer shooters, Overwatch is the better buy. If you want the progression of a game to not be gear or items and solely based on your experience. Like, let me explain what I'm trying to say before I lose my train of thought. What I'm saying is the progression from Overwatch is basically you unlock sprays, emotes, skins, but more importantly, the progression is your time with that character, and not in a weird relationship manner. I'm talking about your skill improves as a character, and you learn where they're needed on the battlefield, who they can go up against, who they can't, what you can do offensively or defensively, how basically you can complement your team. And I felt more excited about Overwatch the more I went into it, whereas Battleborn, it kind of plateaued a lot earlier on. So I think the skill ceiling is... here's the thing. I think the entry level for Overwatch is better, and I think the skill gap is higher, which is a very strange thing that the game has. I would say this is my second most salient reason of why Overwatch is better, is because it's easy to get into. It's not complex or anything. You kind of just jump in, and it's not like shades of gray. It's clearly black and white what you need to do. There are certain characters that literally play like generic, or there is a character in the game that literally plays like a generic FPS guy if you really want that. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's it, guys. Overwatch is better because frame rate, and because it's easy to get into and more difficult to master. There's a ceiling. There's something to be learned. Hell, maybe they'll even have more lore-oriented content in the Overwatch's release date. I don't know. But just based on the beta alone, I gotta go with Overwatch because it plays better. It's a fun game. It's a more fun game to play, in my opinion. Anyways, guys, let me know what your opinion is, if you actually found this video buried underneath all the other Overwatch versus Battleborn content. And I'll come with you again for another ramble. Actually, you know what I'll probably do? And this will be like a kind of a future update. I might do like guides for some of the characters, and if you guys are interested in that, or if you just want to hear me ramble about a character in Overwatch, because I can do that. I know I can do that. Let me know. Cheers.